The internet is a big dumpster.
A space where your past is discarded. A pretty thing like you should never look so blue. Come on, the night's just started. 150 people in this house, but if you follow me, I'll get you the best seats. 150 people in this house, but we'll just let them be. Tonight it's you and mine. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. The lock is off the door. I take a lap around. I'm looking for the flask you hid in a drawer. And when I find it, then my eyes meet yours. I shoot you awake as the band starts to play, but another girl gets in the way. She thinks it's hers instead of yours. And now my fingers start to burn. 150 people in this house, but if you follow me, I'll get you the best seats. 150 people in this house, but we'll just let them be. Tonight it's you and mine. But first I gotta find your groove. 150 people in this house, but if you follow me, I'll get you the best seats. 150 people in this house, but we'll just let them be. Tonight it's you and mine. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. 'Cause tonight it's you and me.
That's right. It's Tuesday night, 9 p.m., a little bit after, but who's counting? And you are on echoplexmedia.com, or you might be on Twitch, but welcome to Local Love. We do this show live every Tuesday night and available 24 hours a day in podcast form. My name is Chip DeVille, and I'm joined by producer Dave. How you doing, producer?
Good, busy, crazy. I don't know. Glad to be here. Glad to not be hosting the show.
Hey, right on. And then we've got Eligio Tapia from Crepuscle. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing great.
Right
Pleasure
on.
to be here.
Dude, so Dave was saying right before, say it again, what you said in the kitchen earlier.
What?
Oh, that we've been playing this guy's music for like 5 years now.
Maybe more than that. It was one of the first bands we got.
I think
Definitely
so.
some of the first metal we got was from Crepuscle.
Yeah. And we finally get a chance to get you here in the studio.
Awesome, man. Well, great to hear that the music's been getting played, and good to be here. And hopefully we'll have some nice chats, show you guys some new music as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what's really interesting is this show kind of like broadened my perspective. I'd always had friends that were metal bands and stuff, but before I started doing this show, I never really got into metal. And now I like have favorite metal bands.
Dude, right? I
So
come
that's
from
cool.
like I've got like a rock background too, but I'm like a total like hip hop head. This show has definitely broadened my horizons a whole lot. The whole concept of this show is exactly what you're hearing. Local musicians from pretty much the greater Bay Area. Everything that you hear on this show has been submitted by the artist. That's how we don't get sued. It's also great because it's just awesome to see like how much really good quality shit is coming from right in our own backyard.
But it's mostly how we don't get sued.
Yeah, it's mostly how we don't get sued. But then we also have a 24-hour stream of music. So if you like any of the bands that you hear on this show, on this podcast, go to echoplexmedia.com/radio. We have our 24-hour stream of music. You can browse through the library, and you can even request songs if you like. Or if you find a band that you like, do a little more digging. You're already on the internet. Just, go that little extra. But yeah, so Crepuscle. How long you guys been a band, man?
Well, in its current form as Crepuscle, probably about 10 or 11 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so we've been around for a while. The first version of the band, I started in high school in 2006, I think. So,
Okay.
depending on when you consider the true beginning, at least 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, damn. And then you guys just had this new album that came out.
Yeah, we still consider it the new album. Technically, it was released in 2019, but because we didn't really get a chance to properly promote it due to obvious circumstances, we'll still call it the new album for now.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I also liked when I was promoting the show online, I could look your guys' band up on the little Instagram music thing and actually use one of your songs. That was pretty cool. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get everybody introduced to the band by playing this song. This is "In the Wings of Glory." Anything you want to say about the song before we hit play?
This is a fast song, fun song, a little bit of folk metal, triumphant feeling. So yeah, enjoy.
Rock and roll. Let's hit it. This is "In the Wings of Glory" by Crepuscle. If you want, you can give the show a call, 415-903-PLEX.
Tyrant
Holy shit. I feel like I just did like an entire workout like listening to that song. That was awesome.
Yeah, chat was talking about the bass drum being on 16th, and y'all got a double bass going there, right? That isn't just somebody's foot going.
So be real, like how in shape is your drummer?
Yeah, he's pretty good shape.
Man, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen like a portly like metal drummer, to be honest. Like
Oh, I think you find one.
too much cardio.
You'd probably underestimate that motherfucker too.
Probably. So, band, you're looking at around 11 years strong. Who were like I'm assuming you're the founding member, you are the vocalist and guitarist. Like who else has maybe been like had the longest tenure with the band?
That is correct. Basically, the current version of Crepuscle has been there since we became Crepuscle.
All right.
Whoa.
Holy crap.
Most people marriages and friendships don't last that long.
Yeah, it's been a long time. The previous version of this band was called Draconian Winter, and gradually these guys were integrated to that version.
Okay.
But by the time we became Crepuscle to now, it's been all the same guys.
So what made the name change?
Since I was the only guy left from the original version, it just seemed more appropriate to start fresh with a new band name. Cool. And also the previous band name was a bit of a mouthful, so something a little shorter.
Right on.
Fresh start. Yeah.
I like that. So and then you guys got 5 members all together. And then I mean, where'd you guys kind of get your start? Like you said, you started kind of all joined up in like high school. Like where was like your first show?
First show as Draconian Winter was we played in Redwood City at what was it? It was the city used to actually throw shows for younger bands, which was really great.
I feel like a few cities did that.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad that a lot of them don't anymore, you know?
Yeah, I haven't heard of that.
Before the pandemic, it's kind of all kind of dwindled.
Yeah, it was great. That gave us all us youngsters a safe place to play.
Yeah.
And there was no consideration about them they didn't care that they were losing money or anything like that. They just had a space for us. So the first shows we were playing were at a place like that. But then as time went on, we thankfully we're able to play like DNA Lounge, Battle of the Bands type of deals. And once we became Crepuscle, our first show as Crepuscle was actually a backyard show in East San Jose, I think in 2011 or something.
Is it like a house down from a liquor store and they got a big dirty backyard?
It was a dirt backyard.
I think I know exactly which house on the east side
every
you're
house
talking
is down
about.
the street from a liquor store in this city, my friend.
That's true.
I only went there once, so I don't remember the geographical area too well, but that was the first show that we played.
That's awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
So I gotta say, man, you guys' website and like how you guys promote yourself, market yourself is on point.
I appreciate that, man, because that's all me. And I put a lot of work into that,
dude.
I know the feels.
Yeah.
I mean, it's down to the nitty gritty, like even down to the equipment that each member uses. Which I was doing like my homework on you guys and everything, and I'm like, that's fucking smart. Like, you know, because you never know where you might be able to get in a sponsorship or.
Speaking of which, didn't some of y'all land little sponsorships or like affiliations with? I don't remember what I was reading. I did my homework, but I fucking forgot it all because I'm like thinking about who's the DA of San Francisco right now. My brain hasn't fucking flipped over yet. But didn't some of you get some sponsorships or affiliations with groups that are involved in metal music somehow?
Yes, that is correct. Yesterday, Angle, it's a amp company based out of Germany. They announced that I'm now part of the Angle family as an endorsee. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, man, it's news that I've been kind of keeping on the down low for a couple months now.
Uh-huh.
They were waiting to kind of get through NAMM, which is a music convention in Anaheim. So they were waiting to get through that, and then now they made the announcement, and now I was able to make the announcement too, and I've been getting a lot of support from so many friends.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, it feels really good. And our other guitarist, Cameron, has also been endorsed by them for a while. So now I joined as well, and we also both are endorsed by ESP Guitars.
Oh, sweet.
So we have the top tier instruments at our disposal.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. Man, that's really cool. Do you have to like give them a shout out when you're on stage or anything, or is it just you're rocking the gear?
Yeah, nothing there's no requirements like that, but yeah, definitely rocking the gear.
That's cool.
And then I like to put out guitar videos here and there, so definitely make sure that it is known that we're using their equipment. Yeah.
Well, if you guys want to check out the website, it's crepuscle official.com. Crepuscle official. If you misspell it, Google will probably just be like, you probably meant this. But yeah, what would be the next song that you maybe want everybody to hear?
Well, there was some talk about wanting something maybe a little slower here from the chat. I noticed something not too fast. So we have a song called Resignation on Heavenly Skies, which is a much slower track. And
all right.
Yeah, let's see.
I like that. See what you think, chat room. All right. Yeah. Don't get all booty tickled. This is Resignation by Crepuscle. And we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Share the stream.
Seems like there's nothing left to live for.
Resignation by Crepuscle. And we've got Elikio here, who is the lead guitarist and vocalist on said band.
Hey, let's do a shout out to the other members of your band. You want to tell us who else is in your band and kind of what they do?
Yeah, so we have fellow guitarist Cameron Stuckey. Known him since high school. Then keyboard player Aaron Robish. So most of these guys I've known since high school. Gavin Devon on bass and JB Schuler on drums. He's actually a Campbell guy. So,
Cool.
Yeah, he's
Well, I'll no longer be his neighbor pretty soon. But yeah, we wish back in the day we used to have like 5 mics in here. We would have been able to invite the whole band, but these days it's not like that because this room's real small, and like doing video means that like if we put people over here, like they'll just be seeing like a bunch of crap over here and stuff. But when we move to the new spot, we'll be able to like have whole bands in again. And the other great thing is in the new spot that we're going to have, if, for example, Chip has to get up and walk away to go to the bathroom, he'd be able to go around that way behind all the cameras versus like cramming in behind the two of us.
So yeah, we're getting a new studio soon. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Speaking of which, if you're listening to this on the pod, give us money. You can go to streamlabs.com/Echoplex, donate there, or you can just go to the support page on our website, echoplexmedia.com, buy some swag, join our Patreon, give us money on PayPal. I guess you could send us money on Venmo, but I'd have to figure out how to log back into Venmo. There's just so many ways to give us money. But our shirts are the business. What's up, Meat Cakes? That's Meat Cakes is Aaron, the former bassist of Sweet Haya, actually.
Yeah.
We had him on a couple weeks ago to celebrate his time with Sweet Haya.
Oh yeah.
Got to catch them a few times live
Yeah.
back in like 2015 or 16.
Yeah, they put on a hell of a show.
Yeah.
Well, damn, man. So you've got a show coming up in Oakland. Where's that going to be?
So we're going to be playing at the Elbow Room. We are opening this tour that's stopping by. Other bands are Grave Shadow and Vintersea. And our keyboardist is actually in one of the touring bands, Grave Shadow. So
Sweet.
He's pulling double duty that night with keyboard with us and then guitar later with Grave Shadow. But he was really excited to do that, so
That's cool.
he's up for the challenge.
How do you guys usually like put shows together? Is it usually like you network with other bands, or does the venue usually kind of set that up for you? Like, what's your guys' general way of going about it?
It's a great question. A little bit of both. Some gigs we put together and choose the bands that we want to play with. Other gigs we'll get like this one. We were contacted by the promoter for that show, asked if we wanted to play. I imagine maybe our name was passed along by the touring bands, but yeah, it's a little bit of both, and we'll see if schedules align with everybody and then kind of go from there.
That's really cool.
So real quick, thanks for following us, Dickington Tango Wood. That's Dickington Tango Wood. Thank you for following this channel.
I love that guy.
Do something else, but if you like the music here, make sure you're here.
Oh, he'll send in some music.
If you like the music here, make sure you're here every Tuesday night, and we also play music during our other shows. So make sure you're checking us out.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. So as far as like traveling shows and stuff like that, like where's maybe one of your favorite spots you got to travel to and perform?
The furthest we've played is Texas. We did a tour in Texas with this band that's no longer around, but they were called Light This City, and I really liked playing in Texas. It was cool.
Yeah.
Cool venues, cool people. But yeah, hopefully I'll have more to consider, and maybe next time I'll say Helsinki, Finland, because I would love to play in Europe.
Oh, that'd be really
I think
cool.
I saw a picture on your Facebook or your Instagram of somebody. Was it in Finland that they were rocking a Crepuscle shirt at an event? It was. I know it was somewhere in Europe.
Yeah, it was Sweden. Sweden Rock Fest. Our friend went. Well, she's in Sweden, and she was representing Crepuscle, and it felt really cool to see that.
That's really cool.
Hopefully someday we'll be there as performers. Would be a lot of fun.
Well, fuck yeah.
Did you have any band projects or anything like that that you were doing before this band came about, or were you always just kind of rocking out with the guitar, or what's your musical history?
Nothing serious before this band. Certainly a little bit of jamming with some friends here and there, but this was kind of my main focus ever since I started. There's been a couple side projects that I joined briefly, but ultimately just Crepuscle is just kind of where I want to stay.
Right on.
I mean, being in one band that you're trying to promote, and you guys are doing a really good job on your marketing, everything's like super clean doing that, and just the day-to-day of one band is hard enough. Even if you're not in that role in the other band, if you're just like a player in another band, it just takes away your time from like your main project. And I don't know very many people who are able to juggle several projects very well, except Micah. He's a drummer of several bands, but those bands are all like the same group of homies too. So it's like, it's a side project, but it's all like,
it's like Taco Bell ingredients. It's
yeah,
like,
it's all in the fam there, but you know, and he's not the lead in any of those bands. I couldn't imagine being the lead in a band and then just casually being in another band. Probably takes a little bit away from you doing the lead in your own band, and then you can't really give enough of yourself maybe to the other project, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think you nailed it. Since I'm kind of the main one pushing this band, there's just not a lot of energy or time left for any other project. And some of the other guys are in multiple bands. Cameron, the other guitar player, is in 5 bands, I think.
Holy shit.
Our drummer,
That's why you're doing all the web work.
Yeah. Our drummer JB, I believe, is in 3 or 4 bands. Our keyboard player is in 3 bands. So all these guys are in multiple bands, but I just would not be able to do that.
For sure.
No way.
Well, then what's like as far as like production and like the songwriting process? Like, do you guys all kind of bring in different elements? Like, do you kind of do it together and figure shit out as you go along, or is it more like, hey, I got this idea, see what you guys think? You know, like, how do you guys usually do it?
That's an excellent question. I am the main composer, so I write about 80% of the music, and I just kind of present completed songs. And then I let them make some contributions here and there, and by letting them interpret certain ways that things should be played. But I'll usually present full songs. Our other guitar player will do the same, present a full song, and then if I have some ideas, then we'll just kind of collaborate, send stuff back and forth. Or sometimes we'll compose a song on a software called Guitar Pro, where if we put it on a Dropbox folder, we're able to see the updates in real time. And that's been really fun. It's like collaborating in person, but at home in your own home. So that's a cool way to do it, that the technology has enabled us to do.
Did you start like utilizing that a lot more during the pandemic, or were you guys doing that even beforehand?
Oh, we've been doing that for many years. However, during the pandemic, I'm the one who just basically wrote a bunch of music and just sent it out to them.
I know a lot of people that got on their own solo projects during the pandemic because maybe their band wasn't working together, or bands. I also saw bands kind of add like new and interesting ways to communicate or get with their audience during the pandemic. And it was it's kind of neat to see, like, it wasn't necessarily surprising who did and who didn't, but some of the ways in which people who would have come on this show, 4 years ago and said, I know nothing about technology or whatever, the ways in which some of those people upped their fucking game and like learned a whole new skill set during the pandemic was incredibly impressive. Definitely. And you bring that with you too. Like, it's not, now that you're playing shows, in person, it doesn't mean that you're not going to keep doing any, those other things you were doing, because those work to reach people outside of your geographic area. If you're doing a stream, or if you're just more active online trying to like engage with in your case, the metal community or whatever, you're going to kind of bring that with you out of the pandemic. And that's going to be another tool in your tool belt. And that's one of the only good things about this period of time in which things got really fucking crazy in our society. Well, they were crazy before, but they got a different kind of crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's see. Is there another song that you'd maybe want to show the audience tonight?
Yeah, let's play Ethereal Waters.
Ethereal Waters. I like the sound of that. Give us a little bit of an intro here. Tell us what we're about to listen to.
All right. This is a very, there's a lot of melodies in all of them, but this is a very melodic one. The structure is a little wild and has some crazy solos towards the end. So we all collectively really like this one and are looking forward to playing it next Tuesday.
Hey, hell yeah, man. All right. Crepuscle, Ethereal Waters. Here we go. Fuck yeah. Ethereal Waters by Crepuscle. Man, that was fire. There was the tempo changes. There was the melody. There was that little acoustic section. Holy crap. All right, walk us through that song, man.
All right, so it starts off with catchy intro melody, and then just kind of maintains a fast tempo for a little while. And yeah, as you noted, we have some acoustic sections there. We love acoustic guitar, and this album has a lot of moments like that. And then the structure is not very conventional, and we play solos for a long time at the end. Probably too long, some may say, but we like to play.
Fuck 'em.
We like to shred, so fuck it, yeah.
Dude, that was great. So, what is maybe one of your guys' favorite songs to do live, would you say?
Oh man, I would say definitely this one's definitely up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably our favorite. We've only played it twice now, so
Okay.
looking forward to playing it some more at future gigs.
What's like a practice usually look like for you guys?
So right now that we're getting ready for this show, we'll play the set a couple times.
Mhm.
But if we're not focusing on a show, we're focusing on new music now. So we'll just be rehearsing the new songs a couple times as well. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And then as far as like the audio quality, because you guys, ever since you first sent us music, like way back, like what's your guys' whole recording process? Do you guys have a place that you actually go to record? Are you like a master of the home studio? Like what's your guys' deal?
So for the first album, which is the songs you guys have been playing for a while, we recorded all of that at a friend's house. We did real amps, which was fun, but I think there's technology's gotten better where we don't have to record real amps in real time. So for this last album, Heavenly Skies, everything we've been playing from that. We recorded as much as we could at my house.
Okay.
I recorded DI tracks for guitars, bass, and then we did vocals at Cameron's house. So in the studio, all we did was drums and guitars. Acoustic guitars. And then we reamped the DI signals using a real amp, but digital cab. So a little bit of best of both worlds there. And then we had it mixed by the engineer who did the drums, and he mixed and mastered it.
Man. Yeah, the audio quality is just out of this world, man.
Yeah, we generally don't get anything that's poorly recorded, or if we do, somebody's like, this is a little bit of a scratch take here. People they generally know. Yeah, it's a big DIY scene here in the South Bay. It's probably some of the engineering culture here. Like one of the only good things about the engineering culture here that rubs off is people are comfortable on computers and using computer technology, even in a style of music like metal that has generally not been very computery.
That's very true. Man. So as far as what was your guys' last show that you did before this upcoming one?
We played at the X Bar in Cupertino on April 1st, and that was our first show back since everything started.
Nice.
And that's also where we played our last show, so it seemed appropriate to play there again.
Well, they do a lot of metal there too.
They do, yeah. And it was kind of like a showcase for the label that released our album. So they got together their bands, and there was one day, the day we played was all the metal bands, and the next day was a more like hardcore style bands.
Okay.
And it was a lot of fun. It was great to be back on stage.
What label are you on?
So this album was released by Crater Destructor, which is also a Bay Area based label.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a couple fans fly in from Oregon to see us, which was
wild,
amazing.
Hey, I'm gonna fly from Oregon to California to go watch somebody play in the side room at a bowling alley.
Dude.
That's some hardcore shit though, and that's pretty metal. That's very much either metal or punk rock is where your fans are gonna do that.
Yeah, that was incredible, and we ended up playing pretty late in the evening. I think we went on at around midnight. But these guys had the biggest smiles on their faces, and they were like pretty much front row the entire show, just kind of waiting for us to come on. So
that's fucking
awesome. It was amazing, and we played as best as we could for everybody, of course, but especially these guys that came in from afar.
Was the is the video that's up on your guys' website, is that filmed at X Bar, or where was that filmed at?
Yeah, that was from our CD release show back in 2019
All
at
right.
the X Bar. Yeah, that was a great show. Probably one of our best.
Right on. Oh my God! I just broke the cardinal rule, and my phone was not on silent. I suck at life. Well, that happened. Sorry. So also at the X Bar, since that was like do you guys have any other videos or anything like that? Like any music videos that you guys have made for songs or anything like that you've got in the works?
No official promo videos. We had some plans to maybe try to make one. Certainly during the height of the lockdown stuff, we had the idea of kind of doing what everyone was doing, kind of a super DIY COVID style video. It didn't end up panning out, and then we wanted to do something a little more serious, but that didn't work out either. And now we're getting close to the 3-year mark from when we released the album, so I'm not really sure if we're gonna get around to that, but certainly something like guitar videos I love putting together.
Yeah.
As a guitarist, I love watching guitar playthroughs, so I think there's gonna be probably a few more in our future, and then maybe from our upcoming show and any other shows we play, we'll get some live footage and kind of put together another live clip.
That sounds cool, man. As far as like, what would you say because being together over a decade, that's huge for any band, really. But as far as like, do you maybe have any tracks from when you guys first started that you're either like still love that one, or maybe you're like, oh God, I don't like hearing that one, like what, as far as just as an artist, because every artist is their own worst critic.
Our interviewer here is like, which of your songs sucks?
No, not exactly. And that's not what I'm. I understand that like feeling of like being like critical, or like hearing something that you made like a long time ago, and then you're just like, ugh, I can like totally tell where my influence came from on that track.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I would say on our first album, Draconian Winter, I'm very proud of that album, especially for how good it sounds and how young we were and how limited our resources were. But yeah, there's at least one song. It's called Gallows Hill. I don't like that song anymore.
Oh wow.
And
coming up next, we've got Gallows Hill. No, I'm just kidding.
If I don't have any plans of ever playing that live again.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely one. The other tracks, I think, they still have their charm, and there's moments, of course, that I'll listen to. I'll still listen to the album, and I can point out the moments where I do kind of cringe, or my vibrato was shit, or something, a take that should have been redone was not. But it's part of our history now, and it shows our progression as well.
That's pretty cool.
Where we started and how far we've come.
Yeah, I mean, I'm live 6 nights a week here, and sometimes I'll go back and listen to something or whatever, and I'll be like, uh-oh, what was I doing? Why was I even talking about that? Yeah, we all do that to ourselves. We have to. Actually, it's the only way any of us are going to get better at anything we do. So,
yeah, it's good to be kind of critical and have these moments of reflection, and also appreciate the growth, because I'll listen to something that I did before and like, wow, I could have done that way better today. So yeah, come a long way.
Any of the old stuff you've never recorded that you've been thinking about putting down?
No, everything has pretty much been coming out. Now we do have a huge backlog of material. A lot of which was written in like 2013, to now even.
Wow.
And it's all going to be released in due time. So we don't like to write what we would consider a bad song. If we write a full song, it's pretty much going to be used
cool.
when the time is right.
Man. Well, as far as like what is like metal your main influence, or like what other like bands maybe like do you listen to that you're like, damn, I kind of want to do something like that? Or do you got anybody specifically that inspires you or stands out to you?
Yeah, certainly from the non-metal. Metal is pretty much mainly what I listen to, specifically melodic death metal, but I do also really enjoy Enya. I love Enya's music.
Oh, you and my mom would get along.
Yeah. I do like Baroque and Renaissance era music as well. And some of that influence does actually make it into Crepuscle playing. But yeah, mostly metal. I mean, I'm not against other styles. I'm not like an elitist in any way. I just really like metal, so I do mostly just listen to that. But if in terms of creating anything else, I would love to have an acoustic project someday where I just write and release acoustic tracks
That's
that
cool.
are probably going to sound like Crepuscle music, just without distortion.
The Crepuscle Unplugged album.
Yeah.
That'd actually be pretty cool.
Which we actually now that you mentioned that, we did record Draconian Winter in its entirety acoustic version
Oh shit.
with acoustic arrangements. Back in 2015 or 2016 is when we finalized the recording process.
Mhm.
However, it hasn't seen the light of day because it became way too ambitious, and we recorded that with our friend who recorded our first album, and he had us record hundreds of tracks, which is way more than I think an actual acoustic album needs, but it kind of became his vision at some point, and his computer just couldn't handle it. So
Crazy.
he's, at this point, now that technology has progressed, he's buying some pretty beefy stuff, and is planning on revisiting it, and maybe we'll release it at the 10-year anniversary, which will be 2024.
Nice.
Don't hold me to that, but
So I had the my computer can't handle this.
The blues, the mic.
It was just my computer can't handle this during the pandemic because we always had people here. I would do like some interviews remote, but that would be like one person on remote and my camera, and there wouldn't be anything happening really other than that. But then once everybody went remote, I had the my computer cannot handle this moment. We also went through a bunch of different services before we found Video Ninja for remote, but the Video Ninja was even more taxing on computer systems, so I definitely had to. First time in a long time, I built a fucking gaming computer, and I don't play video games. It's just the demands of audio production or video production or video games are almost the same demands on a computer. Minus, of course, if it's just music, the video card, you don't really need to worry about that so much. But yeah, it's you do eventually, you're like, oh man, I'm out of computer. I just ran out of computer now. I can't do any more because I don't have enough computer. And that's always sad.
yeah, definitely. There's definitely a limit. It is sad and frustrating when that limit is reached. Our friend did try mixing it as best as he could, and he was having to he was having to listen to things by having to bounce them,
Like to WAV files or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, eventually just his computer couldn't handle it, so it's been on hold until further notice. Yeah.
As far as like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, for a while too, computer components were like, like expensive. Like I'm lucky I built like right at the beginning of the pandemic before things got real bad. But for a while, like, processor that should be $200 was $600. A video card that should be $500 was $1,500. Like that kind of stuff because of the supply chain problems and just, I mean, you can't produce that much shit in your factory if everybody can't go to the factory because they all might fucking die. Or not, they're not all going to die, but some of them are. Some of them are going to get sick and shit. And like you can't, even places we think of, this stuff is produced outside of the United States. Those are still human beings, and nobody's going to send somebody into a work environment where they're like confident that some of those people are going to get very sick or die. We have weird views about other countries and the way they treat people, but nobody does that. People just don't do that. It's only American billionaires do that.
Yeah. As far as like how you guys like distribute your music, like do you guys mostly like use the internet? Like, do you still like to put out the physical copies? What's been your best way of distribution, I guess?
I think the internet has been amazing for any small band trying to get their music out there. So our music is on all the streaming platforms, on YouTube. I'm still old school, so I still like the physical format. Creator Destructor helped us release our music on vinyl. So we had 2 vinyl variants as well as CDs.
That's awesome.
Which has been great to see, the huge artwork.
Yeah.
But the internet has been amazing, and I love Spotify, and I love that that's an option, and I love seeing where people are listening to us. So it's open the gates. It's great that there's no gatekeepers keeping music from being discovered.
That's really cool.
I mean, the flip side of that is that now your competition has increased because there's other people that aren't being gatekept kept. But it's good in the end because you can build community around what you're doing, which is actually like people don't really get it. Like, when you look at like content creation and podcasting, it's different than music in that the output is different. But in like the modern way that people consume content, the marketing and the way that you kind of get fans is a lot the same. And it's much more important, like when you're still small, to start building community around what you're doing. And without the gatekeepers in the way, you can build community. Your community's 20 people. Now your community's 35 people. Now your community's 140 people. Now your community's 1,000 people. And it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And people tell their friends. And before, the only way to really do that was to play show after show after show after show after show after show. Yeah. And that's fucking grueling. Fucking grueling.
Yeah, what you said is true. It's a little bit of a double-edged sword, but I think I would rather have it this way for sure, because it gives us the opportunity to get out there, and there's this community component. It's a little exhausting.
Clearly, you have a fan that wore your shirt to a show in another country. Yeah. Like that would have never happened. Like in the days, like just 15, 20 years ago, before people were primarily distributing digitally. It wasn't that long ago that people were still buying CDs, and that the club owners were the gatekeepers and the A&R people were the gatekeepers. And now like there's still gatekeepers, right? Because like Facebook's the gatekeeper now, because there's some fucking computer program decides whether or not the people that follow your page see your post. But you can find ways to bust through that, and you can, like, what we've done is like found other ways to engage with people. And it's hard. But once you get people off of something like Facebook, that's sticky. They're with you. If they're like checking your Bandcamp every couple weeks to see things, or they're like checking your website, or I see that y'all post like a newsletter, a blog or whatever. And if people are following that, then you've like kind of you've cut out the middleman there. I don't see a lot of bands posting blog stuff, by the way. Fucking smart on you.
Yeah.
Smart on you for doing that, because you're not going to get the same numbers as on social media, but those are like the fucking real ones that are reading your blog all the time.
Yeah, we want to be as accessible as possible on on every medium, and we try to engage as much as we can, and we're very accessible on our personal pages as well. We have an amazing hardcore fan in Japan who has not only bought everything that we have from merch perspective, but he has bought the guitars that we play.
Holy shit.
He has our logo tattooed on his arm.
Wow.
Bro. Yeah, he's hardcore, and we love him, and hopefully we can play a gig for him in Japan someday.
Dude. Chat was like, can you freestyle right now? Hey, man. Jacob Sally, I would encourage you to go onto my TikTok, our TikTok at Echoplex Media. If you like freestyle, check out Doc's Black's freestyle.
Oh, yeah.
This is our dude here is in a metal band. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe you got flows and I don't know about it.
You got flows that we don't know about?
Sadly, I do not.
No sick flows.
No.
You don't want me to flow. Absolutely not.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and play another band that submitted their music this up on the 14th, this weekend on the 14th, at a place called Palomini's Bar and Lounge over in Livermore. Friend of the show, Shark in the Water, is going to be playing, and this is a taste of them. Taste them before they taste you.
You took your kid to the beach, 'cause you're an idiot. You're going home with a death certificate. Death certificate. A shark ate my baby. Death certificate. A shark ate my baby. Death certificate. A shark ate my baby. Death certificate. A shark ate my baby.
That was Shark in the Water with Death Certificate, A Shark Ate My Baby. We are here with Elikio from Crepuscle. And if you're just tuning in, thank you. If you're listening to the podcast, thank you as well. Be sure to share it with a friend or an enemy, or just text a random number and see if it works. Just do it. It'll be fun. So as far as like plans for the rest of the year for the band, anything like coming up? You said you're working on a lot of new material.
Yeah, nothing concrete, but we do want to play more shows if possible.
Cool.
There's certainly time still left, so we do want to play more shows, even out of the area, hopefully. Kind of spread the good word of Crepuscle.
So this is supposed to be the host's job, but I'll take care of this. Justin for a beer, thank you for rating us with a party of 9. We love it when we get goats.
Hey.
You get a goat gift when you raid this channel. Justin is an old friend of mine from the rave days, and it's good to see you streaming and good to see a raid from you. We appreciate it very, very much.
Oh yeah. Welcome everybody. Hello y'all. This is a music show from the Bay Area, and tonight we've got Elikio from a metal band, Crepuscle, and we've been talking about their history and their future. Whoa. So as far as the artwork, because I noticed your album artwork is extremely elaborate. Did you commission that, or how'd you go about finding all that?
Yeah, we found a guy based out of Germany. I think I was just looking around on DeviantArt.com, just trying to find some artist that kind of was in the realm of what we were looking for, and managed to stumble across this fella, and he was very easy to work with, very professional. Basically just sent him some references and some ideas, and he had amazing sketches immediately. And we had three different concepts to choose from, and it was a really difficult choice. This was actually not my first choice, but I got outvoted, and I'm glad I did because it turned out amazing.
Yeah, it looks real good. Just real quick, thanks for the follows, Jim Raves and Sadlon. Thank you for following this channel. If you come here on a different night and you don't like it, like whatever, it's a crazy place.
Yeah, we got a little bit of something for everybody every night.
Not really, but yes.
Well, hey, maybe not. Well, yeah. Man.
So just real quick, Justin's a friend of mine, like from way back in the rave days. His brother Eric was a roommate here for a short time while he was looking for a job. Eric was up on stream DJing with me till like 4 a.m. one night. We got like white girl wasted and shit. It was awesome. And I've known Justin for a beer for a long time. I think he does game streaming, and he also does some kind of events related to he works in the craft brew industry and does some events around that stuff. So everybody check out Justin for a Beer's channel, please. If any of our regulars here can shout out Justin for a Beer's channel, my hands are in like the wrong place to try to type any real commands onto the keyboard. Typing is like weird at this angle, so if I can get any regulars to give a shout out to Justin, I'd appreciate that very much.
Thanks a lot, Justin. I'm going to go ahead and play another Crepuscle song here. Now, you said that you had some like Renaissance influences and like that sort of chord progression style. I got a Lapsing Eternity over here queued up. You want to go ahead and tell people about this one a little bit?
Yeah, this one starts off a little bit slow. The tempo builds up. As probably by now you can tell, I love tempo changes, so
yeah,
definitely gonna be having some of that. And then there's a neoclassical section, definitely influenced by the Baroque sound. So I hope you enjoy.
Sweet. This is a Lapsing Eternity. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
So eternal.
Yes, Elapsing Eternity by our guests here, Crepuscle.
Risto, what's up, Risto? Risto's given out 125 gift subs on this channel, so Risto's like a fucking VIP.
Damn.
Also one of our first subs. Thanks for hanging out, Risto. Hope you and your battle poodle are doing real well.
Man, that's a lot of subs.
That's a dude from Finland who has a poodle, and he's like, if the Russians invade my poodle, we'll fuck them up.
Terve.
Well, yeah, that's another fringe benefit of this show. It helps expand your reach. We've got listeners in Finland, Japan,
Day drunk
Australia.
Australian
Yeah,
women.
day drunk Australia. That's our team right there.
Middle-aged day drunk Australian women hold it down in the chat.
Oh man,
I guess it's not day drunk. It's like tomorrow. It's like they're cooking dinner right now. They're like, I'm going to cook dinner and then I'm going to come swear in your chat.
it's happy hour drunk.
Mate. So do you, because you were talking a little bit, we were talking a little bit about a friend or a fan. I guess you'd probably call them a friend because it's about building community. And are you finding that as you do more online to promote your band, that you're finding more kind of friends or people interested in your music in different parts of the world?
Yeah, absolutely. There's people that discover us from, for example, Japan or Canada, or that just reach out and start following us on our personal pages too.
That's
so
awesome.
Definitely the line between fan and friend is very much blurred. No, I'm okay. Thank you. Very much blurred, and it's I like keeping it that way because I'm also a fan of a bunch of bands, and I like trying to be friends with them, so I want to keep that going.
Also, I'd say like I've been to like quite a few metal shows, and the vibe, like the community vibe, because a lot like from the outside looking in, a lot of people like will be like, oh, they're all wearing black, boo, like they all get all like worried. But dude, like some of the communities, I had a buddy who was a dubstep DJ and he was the lead singer of a metal band.
That's not uncommon, actually.
Yeah. And it's like, so I would go to a lot of shows with him, and dude, like just the community there is really warm. It's pretty fucking cool. I don't know.
Real quick, thanks to Draconis Black Flame for following the channel. Fucking,
yeah.
There's no place like the Now Space.
Yeah, what you pointed out, I think, is one of the things that I love about this metal community is that it's very welcoming, very diverse, and there's a family component to it for sure. Of course, whenever we see familiar faces at gigs, it's always amazing. But then whenever I go to a show as a fan or an attendee, always run into somebody. So even if I go alone, I'm not alone at the show.
That's
cool.
the point of like community or a scene or whatever. There's like downsides of it too. Like, people like inevitably in any scene, like people that everybody likes are going to have conflict with one another. And it's like, it's important also as like a band, especially to like stay the fuck out of that to the extent that you can. Like, unless it's like your brother or something, you stay the fuck out of that. But like, it's more benefits than harms, I think, up until a certain point. Like if you have 10,000, 20,000 people showing up at your show, or in my case, showing up to watch one of my shows, then that community aspect and everybody wants to be your friend part of it is probably actually a very tough thing to navigate, right? Because you don't have time for everybody, and then people get their feelings hurt and shit. But like, I guess that for me, that would be a good problem to have. I don't know.
Sure. Well, I'll let you know when I get to that point. Until then,
I mean, you won't though. Once you get to that point, you'll be too good to come on my show.
No. Yeah, I like to make it a point to give everybody my time of day if they reach out. So we've had people reach out who said they love, like the lyrics meant something to them, or they love songs or something, and I always make sure
good on them for being able to understand your lyrics, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, they're on our website if anyone's wondering. But for example, today I got a lot of love after the announcement that I'm playing Angle now, and I make sure to respond to everybody.
Yeah, that's great.
Everybody gets my time of day.
That's really
Can you want to give a shout out to the Angle real quick?
Yeah, Angle amps based out of Germany, ESP guitars as well, some of the best instruments in the world, and we get to play them.
We're going to do a little shout out, by the way. I'll do a little shout out too.
Please do.
We don't do this enough on the air. This show would never sound the way that it did if we weren't running Linux. Just real quick, the KX Studio project, they build a toolkit that you can slap on top of any like Ubuntu version of Linux. Ubuntu is a very popular version of Linux, and it includes all kinds of DSP and audio routing that you can't get anywhere else. And just real quick, if you're listening via the audio only, and I did check, and there's a few of you doing that. There's an application called Butt, and it literally stands for broadcast using this thing. So shout out to anybody who's still listening audio only to the show. We would not have been able to put this together, and I would have eventually probably given up if I didn't have this amazing toolkit available to me from the beginning. So, and I guess shout out to Pioneer for making good DJ controllers, whatever.
Actually, if you are interested in starting your own and you kind of like what we do here, you've still got all the gear and stuff that we use on the website too, right?
The wiki, even better. You have Bang Wiki in the chat, and you can just go look at the studio. We have a wiki. You can find out a bunch of things. If you like, if there's you can't put a space between the Bang and the wiki. But if you have if you're like, they're talking about something and then it's not on the wiki, you can email us to complain. And then like one of the people that watches this show who has signed up for the wiki will go ahead and put that on our wiki. That's the point of it. It's like a updated database of what the fuck's going on around here that I don't have to actually fucking maintain myself. Also, that runs on Linux, by the way. That runs on an Ubuntu server using wiki.js. Shout out to DigitalOcean. They've been a sponsor of this show for about 6 years now. You can go to our website on the support page. If you know what DigitalOcean is, you can get $100 free credit. And then if you keep your account long enough, they kick us down $25. And you keep your account even longer, they kick us down $100. So fuck yeah.
Keep your accounts, people. Don't lose your passwords. Get a password manager.
Oh, you got a password manager too. We're not sponsored by those people. Those people are normal, so they're not going to sponsor this fucking shit here. What other kind of gear are you into? I know you have this sponsored gear, but like what other kind of like stuff do you really like? Like I mean, there's big brands like Focusrite, Pioneer, and Marshall, and all that. But is there any obscure gear that you use that you think like more people should know about? Or
if I was to give you 10 grand right now, what would you go out and buy?
I'm a very simple guy. I would probably just buy more ESP guitars, to be honest. So I have ESP guitars, now angle amps. I don't really use a ton of pedals, guitar pedals, and my setup for recording is really minimal, just an interface.
What kind of interface you got?
I have a really old Tascam interface that I got probably in 2010, something like that. These interfaces
kicking. Here are going on 10 years old too. Shout out to Focusrite.
Yeah, still kicking, right? So yeah, nothing too crazy. I'm a very simple dude when it comes to gear.
That's I'm the exact opposite way. Well, the thing is for us, like most of the things that other people would consider like gear is software here. Mm-hmm. Like I couldn't imagine having to imagine for like what I'm doing here, imagine having to purchase gates for 5 microphones. Like how, and they have to be good. And then you have to have them all set the same. Like, no, that's fucking $5,000, right?
Way too much. I just see a good question here asking about metal amps. Basically, I think most folks nowadays will use the distortion from the head, for example, let's say angle, and then maybe boost it with overdrive in the front to get it the low end a little bit tighter. Not entirely necessary, more of a stylistic choice, but I think that's how a lot of the guys are doing it. Or some guys have gone completely digital and use digital amps only and use a unit like an XFX is very popular and put that straight into the PA. So completely eliminating amps from the equation. Or some hybrid, they'll connect one of those units into a guitar cab with a power amp. So there's a lot of options out there, but I think most guys are using distortion from the head.
I see. Do you have like a preference, or do you just kind of go with like what you're comfortable with?
At this point, with this setup that I have right now, I really like going just straight into the amp, and I haven't really even used my overdrive, which is what I was using before. Mm-hmm. The head just sounds amazing as it is, but there's still a little more experimentation to be done. And
cool.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
So like, what's your typical like day consist of? Like, do you usually just kind of like even just play on your guitar on your own? Like what's your overall process? Because you said you like to compose most of the music. Like, what's your general process when you're in that zone, when you're in that mode?
Yeah, it's a very solitary process. Right now, what I'm using is a digital amp unit called the Quad Cortex, and that also doubles as an interface, audio interface. So I'll plug my guitar into there, have my headphones in there, and then I can hear my computer through there as well. I'll blend it together, and I'll usually have that going. And if I'm rehearsing for a gig like I am right now, I'll just go through the set through my headphones and play along to it. But if I'm composing, then I'll have Guitar Pro software open and just kind of compose as I go along. But it's all, I live in an apartment, so I try to keep it as courteous as possible and just play with headphones if I can.
We definitely know how that goes.
It's there's just amazing gear out there. I remember when we were doing sound, there were a lot of people didn't like this piece of gear. It was called the drive rack. But the thing I liked about the drive rack is like you could just immediately change all the settings in real time. So if there was like some fucking DJ that I know that was like, hey, you know what I like is red lines on the mixer. Well, as they switched over, I would walk over and press a button to switch them over because he liked a lot of red lines. And I was like, actually, the next guy's a professional, and you switch it over, and then it's not squashing their sound. You're getting more bass out of it. It's much better. A little tiny picture of a drive rack.
Yeah, I was gonna try to put it on the browser.
Oh, that's a DBX one. Maybe that wouldn't be the one. But anyway, it's gear is really weird and really personal, and people like different kinds of gear for like very different reasons. And it's like interesting to talk to people about gear, especially like hearing you talk about it, because you're certainly not like opposed to using computers in what you're doing. And so like, I didn't even, what's the guitar? What was the name of the thing you use on the like software again?
Oh, Guitar Pro.
Guitar Pro.
Yeah.
I swear I've heard somebody talk about that again, before, but I just like spaced it out.
Yeah, it's a great tool to use. It makes it really easy to compose, and also for when a song is done, you can send it to the other guys and they just learn the songs. So it makes it way easier instead of having to sit there and teach them a song or trying to hash it out in a rehearsal space. It makes it easier for that process.
Well, like especially as people get older and like, people like have families, or they like, they're like, oh, I thought I was going to do music for a living, but it turns out that I'm actually doing this. So I have to like budget my time for the music. And then, their time budgeting doesn't always have to line up with when you can budget your time. Mind you, you can't really do the thing and do it well without budgeting some time together. But it changes a lot of stuff. Now the time that you have together, you're getting tight. You're getting the songs tight. The person, they're not learning the song. They know the song, but they don't know how the drummer plays the song. So now you're spending your time like kind of honing the way that you sound together versus just figuring out what the hell the song sounds like in the first place. And, other people do it different. There's bands that we're friends with that we really like that they're primarily jam bands. And that's a whole different scene and a whole different way of doing it. But it's just like really cool that the technology has sort of enabled people who may have honestly fallen off because of their other obligations to be able to kind of stay on the same page with the people in the band via, like Guitar Pro, or, even just sending people, well, here's what the drummer's doing. And, like this wasn't possible before. So I just wonder how many like musical geniuses the world lost because that person like, well, I got to go be an accountant, I can't do both.
I can't
But now
rock anymore.
Now you can be an accountant and be in a metal band.
Yeah. I work at in a financial institution.
I see. Like,
oh, what?
I wasn't trying to call you out.
No, but you're totally right.
Dude,
yeah.
And doing this show, though, we've met like so many different like dudes in bands. Like one's a paralegal, one's like a process server.
Like not for nothing, Nay Hall's like moving her way up inside of, I believe it's Facebook or Google or whatever.
Oh wow.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily work at those places, but that's not my decision for her life. And we've God, who else have we met that was just like, you find out what they do for a living? I swear to you, somebody who came in here and they were like a physicist or something. I forget who it was. It was like not like our homie or whatever. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a biologist, or it was like something that you wouldn't have expected.
Yeah.
And I think like technology is enabling a lot of that stuff because those things are full-time jobs and you have time for a hobby. But a band is a little more than a hobby.
I'd say so.
Maybe before it was.
It's a commitment.
Yeah, it's a bit of a commitment. It's like being married to people that are never. Oh shit! Never mind. I'll be careful here.
Well, okay, so I'm trying to kind of like show our audience, because we've gotten to hear a whole bunch of different kinds of sound. Now, you would mention that this one, Lunar Lullaby, is an acoustic track?
Yeah, that is correct.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and play for the people an acoustic track. So we're getting the full spectrum of Crepuscle. And if you like what you're hearing, go to their website, which is crepuscleofficial.com. And stay tuned. We will be right back. Lunar Lullaby, Crepuscle, Local Love.
It's for if you're like Randall Pink and you can fall asleep in a minute. That's a perfect lullaby. I don't know if you remember Randall Pink, like fucking would go sit on the couch and just fucking out.
Yeah, somebody in the chat's like, clearly this guy doesn't have kids. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't either. So.
That's correct, yeah.
So we're saying if you were going to make a big investment, like during the song, you were saying you would buy like orchestral software or like access to orchestral samples or whatever.
Yeah, so we already have some orchestral software, but if we were to buy, or if we had more funds, yeah, why not get a bunch of other software and just kind of.
How does that play out live? Do you just leave it out of the track?
Oh, that's a great question. We actually have to use backing. Well, we don't have to, but we decide.
Sometimes you do.
We use backing tracks. We have a keyboard player, but he can't play everything, of course. So he'll play the more.
The keyboard player probably isn't providing like the orchestral stuff. The keyboard player is providing licks and riffs.
Yeah, so like piano parts and bell sections, and sometimes he'll play along to the backing track. So he'll do the strings, and we'll have choirs backtracked, stuff like that. But
I love those digital choirs too.
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But like metal, like not like metal music, but like a metal, like a grating metal sound with the choir.
Yeah,
that is like if you listen to it by itself, you would think it sounds like shit because it's there with the choir.
Man. Well, okay, so I do got to ask. I know we're about to be winding up the show. If you're still tuned in live, keep tuning in live. But so you guys have been together over a decade. What's maybe like your secret for like? I mean, because
this guy's hella like in charge and cracks the whip. He's not chill or anything.
That's my secret. I'm the boss.
They actually can't leave because I'll go Scientology on their ass and harass their neighbors. I'm sorry.
But I mean, I'd say like I've been in plenty of bands, and the more members, I feel like the more almost chaotic it is to keep things together. That's why like most of the bands I've been in have not been more than 4 people. So I mean, you guys got a 5-piece.
Hey, you're in like a 3-person band right now.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm working on that. But I mean, like how, like what would you say is like one of your guys' like keys to successfully, making it this far?
Not killing each other.
Yeah.
I think and that's a great question. I think the biggest thing has been respect. There's always been respect. There's a culture of respect, maturity. There's been times where we've had to have serious conversations, but no one's ever been insulted. It's always been about just making sure the job gets done. So
I made a habit of insulting one of my co-hosts for a while, but that's, like the band hasn't stayed together around here. Let me tell you, the cast of characters keep changing. Yeah, that's cool. Like, I know a lot of people. Like most of my friends. It's so strange. Like I'm a DJ. Before this, I was a DJ and I was producing electronic music, and now I'm like a podcaster and streamer. And like most of my friends, maybe not my oldest friends, but the people that I meet like around are always people from bands. It's just always people in bands that are like kind of the new or the not the people I've known for 20 years part of my circle. And it's so different to like hear your story versus like people I know in bands, because they'll have a few drinks and they'll be like, oh my God, this one bassist.
Yeah, like there's the one dude with a reputation or something.
Yeah, thankfully nothing like that. We're all really chill. We all just like doing what we do. Even though I'm the main composer, everybody shares the vision. There's no ego in this band, really. We all just get together to.
You can't do 5 people without somebody kind of being the person who has the say. You know what I'm saying? We struggled with this as an organization. Chip, you were here when we tried to run everything by committee.
Yeah.
Do you remember when as soon as we stopped trying to run everything by committee, like we started to have good products?
Yes.
Yes. We started to gain listenership, and we started to like stop having meetings at La Pizzeria where 12 people were all trying to tell everybody else there what they thought we should do with the project. And like, you can't, like, that's a waste of fucking time.
It was a fun idea at the time, but yeah, it was very counterproductive.
It's a waste of fucking time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you don't listen to anybody or whatever, but it does mean that like you're saying you're the main dude, but you have to, like, if you've kept the rest of your band, that means that you don't like talk down to them. If you think that they're wrong, you probably just tell them that they're wrong, and then everybody just moves the fuck on. Like,
yeah, definitely. There's never really been a moment where I don't think anyone's felt disrespected. At least I hope not. And in fact, I try to get the guys to their opinion, like, hey, what do you guys think about this? Or try to get them involved so it doesn't feel like I'm the only one doing anything. Or at least
you should beg them to help with the web work stuff. Though. I feel like I'm starting to be like, well, if next month, instead of just barely scraping by on the money I make here, what if I make enough money for 2 people to scrape by? Would I be able to tell the second one what to do?
Well, we did have a question from the chat, and I wanted to ask for their sake, because we appreciate our chat checking us out and interacting. Most of you. Yeah, we appreciate most of you fuckers. But he's asking, do you think the material that alters the mind, like alcohol or drugs, is vital or detrimental to the creative process in music?
That's a great question. I would say for me, it's detrimental.
Mm-hmm.
I like to drink beer and I like to have, a few, but when it comes to music, I separate the two. I can't play guitar after more than a few beers, and I get really frustrated.
Yeah.
If frustrated with yourself, basically. Yeah. Your body's not doing what you expect it to do.
Exactly. And in terms of creativity, it doesn't help in any way. If anything, there's been times where I had a couple of beers at rehearsal, or maybe at a gig I'll have one before and one during the show, but certainly nothing much more.
You keep it within your limits.
I mean, for you, like at a show, maybe a beer is like a prop or whatever. It gives you something to grab between the songs, or
absolutely.
What about?
I've come at it differently. Like, when I was writing music, which I actually wasn't very good at, except I wrote one really good song, but like whatever. Me and whoever was writing with me at the time, we would just get obliterated stoned, and it was like easier for us to like put ideas out and whatnot. But the flip side of that is, if I went to go through and like, okay, there's like 27 tracks here, like, do we need 20? No, we don't need 27 tracks. We don't need 15 different bongo samples, right? So, but then I would go back through sober and kind of take a look at what was going on in the track, and I think that that will work for us insofar as we would finish a song. Worked for us insofar as it like worked, no. But like doing what I'm doing here too, I will get frustrated with myself like later at night if I'm DJing, it's fine, whatever. That's different. Like, you could DJ drunk, right? You just have to be a little more careful. And you're not, it's not like when you're playing a guitar where you're hitting every lick or whatever. You're DJing, you're thinking ahead 5 tracks, you're trying to figure out what's going on, you're trying to like build a mood with music that other people have done, you're mixing it together in interesting ways. But when I'm not doing that, if I'm up late and I'm having fun, and like there's, I don't know, sometimes late at night there's a few hundred people in the chat here, but then I'm drunk, I like get frustrated with my brain, because I'm like, we're watching something, it's interesting, the chat's engaged, and I'm like, I'm not really as present as I need to be for like all the other things that are going on. So I've like really, like at the beginning of the pandemic, dude, I was getting fucking wasted on stream, and I've really tamped that down. Sometimes like you don't even know on stream if this even has any alcohol in it, right? I'll just go pour in a fake cocktail sometimes late at night, because it's not good if you're trying to do something like on the spot to be like intoxicated. if you have to be doing the whole thing the whole time. DJing's different again. You can be like, oh, I'm a little drunk. I need a glass of water. Where's a 6-minute song? You know, but you can't do that if you're playing the fucking guitar and singing now, can you?
Yeah. Not very easily.
Oh man.
Well, music stands by itself enough, though. If you got yourself into feeling some kind of way, you can probably rely on your band for a few minutes to keep the crowd going. I don't know.
Yeah, and we like to play tight, and having more than a couple drinks makes that really difficult to do. So we take this very seriously on that level. We like our friends having a good time and having beers when we're playing. We want the party atmosphere for sure. But when it comes to performing, we take that very seriously and separate the two. And yeah, good discussion being had here in the chat.
Oh yeah,
look good.
Yeah, we got CT Catch up in the chat. New member was cracking. I know that guy.
It can be. I mean, for some people, CT Catch, right? Like some other people, like they get drunk or they get stoned or whatever, and it plays itself out socially too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's always like your friend who gets stoned and doesn't really talk much, but you still want to hang out with them, that they're your friend, but they get like really high and they don't have much to say, and like they're having fun, they're enjoying themselves, but that has to play out in like songwriting too, where like if people get high or they get drunk or whatever, that part of their like consciousness is no longer really there with them anymore because they're like in a different mode. And those people should probably take up DJing as a side hustle. Because you can do that shit fucked up.
Well, so I was gonna play the self-titled track for the album, but do you got any other recommendations or anything you'd want me to play?
That's a great one. It's a fast one.
Well, we'll see if we get any fucking drama from the chat on the fast one.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry ahead of time.
This is Heavenly Skies. Stick this in your pipe and smoke it. We'll be right back. damn, Heavenly Skies, the self-titled track off of their album Heavenly Skies. Dude, that was killer.
So Risto in the chat from Finland was like, this makes my Nordic heart beat. Yeah, there's the style of metal that was closer to. It's like what is it like? It's with the mugs where it's like do 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 do.
Oh, folk metal.
Folk
Yeah.
metal or I think it might be folk metal. That band is it Pandemonium that plays that kind of music.
Oh yeah.
They talk about like the different size of the mug. As you like, if the song's slower, you can have a bigger mug because you can go back and forth. I think it's like some kind of Nordic metal or whatever.
And that's cool to hear that. We're heavily influenced by Nordic bands, so it makes sense here. That
It's really fun. I see you guys on Twitter, but I think you're just like having it repost other things. If I see a person on Twitter with like some kind of Nordic image as their their profile picture, I assume they're white supremacists.
Oh. None of that here, in case it
No,
has to be clarified.
I wasn't. We're never too like the music scene here. I was actually, when we started doing a music show, I was actually a little concerned that we might kind of run into some shitty people and whatnot. We just haven't. Like we've run into people who have like gotten too drunk on the show or couldn't handle the smoke-a-thon or whatever. But I was like legitimately concerned we'd like kind of run into some shitty people, and we just haven't. And that's been fantastic. I was super impressed with the music community during COVID. And I've just been impressed with the Bay Area music community overall, getting to know people in the community. These are people I never would have met or whatever. And I was a little concerned because we were just like bringing strangers over, and we've just never, ever had any kind of like real problem with any of our guests. And that's been fantastic.
Thank goodness.
So before we get out of here, I wanted to talk a little bit about stage fright. Have you ever had stage fright? Were you ever super nervous before something you played?
That is a great question. I typically don't get much stage fright anymore. I'm usually there's maybe a little bit of stress and anxiety going on because you want things to go right.
But that stress and anxiety
Right.
like goes up as soon as things start to look like they're not going right.
Yeah, and then once you're on stage and the intro track hits, then it all goes away. But actually recently, a couple weeks ago, I went on stage for a song to do guest vocals for this band called Darkness Everywhere. Our guitarist Cameron is in that band as well. And I was really nervous when I got up there. I was shaking.
I mean, they're putting darkness everywhere. They sound important.
So it was...
They make night happen all over the universe.
It was nerve-wracking. Also, I'm not hiding
Did you
behind
do
a
well,
guitar. I did, actually. I saw some
good.
clips, and it seems like I did well. And then, but I remember even getting off stage when I went back to my friends who were holding, or when I was holding my beer, my hand was shaking still because,
Like the nerves.
Yeah, the nerves were still hitting for a good like 5 minutes after. But for the most part, not really nervous anymore. And I think for me, a lot of that comes with trying to be as prepared as possible. In this case, I was singing.
You and me are like the same dude.
Yeah, man.
We're the same dude.
In this case, I was singing somebody else's lyrics, so I wanted to do my best, and then also in someone else's band. So, yeah, I think there was more nervousness there. But when it comes to my own music and my own lyrics, I usually feel pretty confident enough. Yeah.
Chip, when was the last time you were nervous when you showed up?
My
at a show?
first big show back after the pandemic, like that I was really, really nervous for. Actually, I backed my truck into a fire hydrant at Westgate Mall, and luckily the water didn't shoot up. There's still a hole in my back bumper because I was just all nerves.
The fire hydrants are built better these days.
Yeah.
It's not like a cartoon anymore. They've managed to decartoonize the fire hydrants.
But yeah, that was probably my most recent. I still like before gigs, because I'm a textbook
I went with
overthinker.
you with the last gig I went with you. You were a little. Bzzz.
Oh yeah.
I didn't
Liquid.
say nothing. I didn't say nothing because I wasn't gonna fuck with you about it.
I'm always kind of nervous before the show, and like you said, like once that first track goes, then it's great. But I mean, just recently I had a gig where I had an empty dance floor most of the night. Not like to no fault of like what I was playing, but it was just kind of a dead night for the bar. Right. But still, like while you're up there, time go. You've been in this position.
Oh
time just goes slower, and every single negative thought is running through your head. So is it me?
That's so funny because I was gonna say almost the same thing. The last time I was actually nervous before playing something because of how big it was the first time I played Bike Party.
Oh wow.
Because I had ridden it before and I'd seen the other DJs and I was like, no shade to the people. They just weren't like, they hadn't, they were new
Bedroom.
or they were wedding DJs who wanted to kind of while out at bike party. And I was like, this is going to be fine. This is going to be fine. And then we show up and then Brandon's like, we're going to get arrested. And we're like, we're not going to get arrested. Brandon's like, we're setting up on the Monopoly board in front of the Children's Discovery Museum to play for an illegal party. We're going to get arrested. And I was like, we're not going to get arrested. But then the bike starts showing up. And I was like, hey, you want to play first? He's like, I'm worried we're going to get arrested. And I'm like, I'm terrified because there's like 5,000 people here. And he's like, okay, I guess I'll play first because my fear is irrational. and fucking 30 seconds into the first song, some little girl comes up and hugs my leg while I'm playing. And I'm like, this is going to be fine. This is fantastic. But yeah, what you were saying about like when you're playing an empty room, I get anxiety then. Yeah. I don't generally get anxiety, but an empty room, I'm just like, I don't think, oh, are the people not here because I'm here? I think I haven't done my job.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything to encourage people to come here, which is a different feeling than I've driven people away.
Just wanted to comment on that. Our last gig, we ended up going on just after midnight.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, unfortunately, some of our friends couldn't stay that late and they had to leave. And when we were setting up, the venue was empty. So we thought we were going to play only to our fans from Oregon, which, we would still play the same, but it's not you don't get that reaction, the same energy as you do.
That energy is reciprocal. Like 100%.
Exactly. And it turns out people were just outside, like getting a little fresh air. So
you're getting a little fresh air.
Yeah.
You're doing what you do outside of the venue.
Yeah. When they came back, and it was certainly fewer people than the band before us played to, but still we had a good crowd and everybody who was there enjoyed it. But I will say that was a very stressful setup because for that reason, it looked like nobody was there. And because it was super late and we were just trying to get on as quickly as possible, we have a stand for our banner that was the first time we tried using it. And in the commotion, we ended up breaking it as we were trying to set up. So it was a total Spinal Tap moment. Well, first of all, we brought it on stage and we had put the banner on it to kind of try to streamline it. However, when we put it on the stage, we didn't realize the banner was backwards. So we had to,
that's great though.
Super Spinal Tap moment, turn it around. And then
I'd have left it backwards. I'd have been like, act like you know.
Well, if we had done that, maybe we wouldn't have broken the stand. But we turn it around, try to hastily raise it, and in doing so, we broke it. So that was stressor. And then our backing track setup, that was our first show with our new setup, and I dropped the headphone amp, and then it wasn't turning on. So stressor number 2. Turns out the battery just got loose, so able to fix that. But then when we were setting up, the door guy, who was not very happy with the show going on late, and I get it, but he was saying we were probably only going to play 10 minutes. And it's like, dude, what are you talking about? We've waited here 6 or 7 hours, and you're telling us...
Wait, you show up at the beginning? Oh.
We showed up.
I'm an asshole. That's right.
We showed up from the beginning, set up our merch, and we were there the whole time, and you're going to tell us we're going to play like 2 songs? And these people flew in from Oregon? Like, no, that's not happening.
Yeah.
So thankfully, we were able to straighten that out, and we played our full set. But yeah, there was certainly a significant amount of stress and anxiety during that.
Yeah, that's so interesting that all 3 of us ended up in the same place. I'm not nervous. Like, okay, I was more nervous at Bike Party, but I played the White Party in like 1999.
Oh, like where everybody dresses like in
No, it's a circuit party. I don't know if you know what circuit parties are.
I don't think so.
Well, I played a circuit party. There were like 5,000 gay dudes on GHB there. And they were playing this sort of like kind of high energy music all night. And I went up and I played like disco music, and I was so nervous. And then I was no longer nervous because the muscle dudes on GHB can't move very much, but they were rocking out. And then I had to chase the promoter down to pay me, which really pissed me off. Then my boyfriend at the time was like, "Can't you just bill him?" And I'm like, "No, I don't think so.
No,
I think this is not a billable moment, Nathan."
This is before the days of Venmo.
Yeah, there's no way to send this guy a bill. So I found him. I was like, hey, do you want to pay me? And he's like, oh, aren't you going to stick around? I'm like, no, actually, I'm not a hard drug user. Can I get paid? But yeah, that was the 2 times I was nervous. Was the first time I played the White Party and the Bike Party for different reasons, kind of. One was like this just big overhyped event, and the other one was this like community thing where I just felt like this was like a place where I had judged other DJs on their skills, and that like I better throw it down, you know.
Nice. Well, hey, we are about to be wrapping the show up, but do you want to give your shows, your upcoming show in Oakland, one more plug so people can come out to Oakland, check it out?
Yeah, playing at Elbow Room in Oakland with Grave Shadow and Vintersea on July 19th. It's a Tuesday. Cake starts at 8. We're the first band. We're playing almost every song from our latest album, Heavenly Skies, and it's going to be a good time. Come out and party.
Hell yeah.
The Elbow Room's a cool place too. They like do a variety of music there. I've seen funk bands there. I've DJ'd there. I've seen metal. I've seen punk. The Elbow Room's a cool place.
Great venue, cool sound, cool vibes.
When I played last time I played, the sound was in a bad way, but maybe they fixed it.
Yeah, went there recently and it sounded pretty good.
Fuck yeah.
Well, if you like what you've heard tonight, definitely check their website out at crepuscleofficial.com. Follow them on socials. Check them out on SoundCloud. SoundCloud, Spotify. What are all the things? I don't even know all the things anymore.
Go to my website. The links to all of my things are there.
Yes, go to echoplexmedia.com. Fuck all the other websites.
That's you know what, and I know, Chip, you're trying to read the show out, and I know that I'm going to be mad at myself tomorrow for this, because then I'm going to have to like downgrade the MP3 quality to put up a fucking podcast that the podcatchers will I'll do. But like when somebody doesn't have a website, it's just a different scenario. You know, it's like, I know some people just can't do it or won't do it or don't have the resources to do it or whatever, but when people have a website that looks pretty good, I just like view their project in a completely different way. Maybe you're not getting a lot of traffic to your website or whatever, but when you send someone somewhere, they're like, oh, I'm a Twitter user. They scroll down to the bottom of your website. Oh, I'm going to follow them on Twitter. I'm an Instagram user. So you put all that stuff on your website and you just send people one place. And not only do you send them that place, it's not like Linktree where it's just this weird collection of links. You got images. It looks how you want it to look. You're putting whatever you want up front and center on the thing, and your website looks great. Are you Squarespace?
Yes,
Yeah,
Squarespace.
yeah. When people's website looks great and they're not like a web developer, it's always Squarespace. Word to the wise.
It's organized. Man, your website is just great. I tried to do my homework before an interview, and like I was like, my roommate was walking by. I was like, dude, you need to see this. Like,
Website, it looks great.
It's really good, man.
And
thank you guys. Mission accomplished.
shout out to Squarespace. Like a lot of people talk shit on that, but the site looks great. The price is reasonable. You can invite other people to like add to your blog or whatever. Shout out to Squarespace. They like enable a lot of people.
Definitely great resource. Everybody check it out.
Well, yeah, so if you're tuning in live, stay tuned because we got more for you during Red Light. And if you're listening to the podcast, thank you. Share the stream. It's a labor of local love.
Oh, when the podcast is over, if you like the music, go to eplex.xyz and you can check out the library here. We got Crepuscle up in the library. We got Sweet Haya. We got more Crepuscle. We got
Shark in the Water.
Phil Johnson and the Roadside Attraction. If you've heard anything you like on this show except for the unreleased Ruffy stuff, you can just pop it into that request thing and it'll play for you within 10 minutes. And the songs that play between that and the thing you requested, you're probably going to like it. If you don't like those songs, well, that's fucking too bad for you because those people took the time to send me their music and I'm not deleting it because you don't like it.
Well, next Tuesday, we've got a recorded interview with Matt from Periscope. Sorry, brain fart there. Because we will be switching.
Only the most played artist on this channel.
Yeah. Because we will be switching studios to our new location.
That's not why.
But that's part of that.
Well, no, it's just because Matt's not available on Tuesday. Anyway, I'm like undermining the host of my own show.
Well, fuck. It wouldn't be a metal show if I didn't play Oh Banana.
Oh my God. Food metal, motherfucker.
This is one of my favorite songs in our library. This is Oh Banana by Food Metal. Stay tuned for Red Light.